Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. My name is John, and today I'm just going to be going over the report task within Gaio. So the report task is basically how you create any type of graphic, analytic card, table, anything you might want to put on a dashboard and display. So one thing to note before we get into that task specifically is that in Gaio there's two different types of processes, or what we call flows. So the first type is this blue icon here, and that basically means that it's a data preparation workflow, is what we call it. So it's more about data, using your builders, calculation, getting all of the data ready to be put into a dashboard. And then the red icons here are dashboard processes. Now, if I open up this edit tab here, you can see these two types denoted here. It's a red icon, so obviously it's a dashboard. And the dashboards have two types. So the page basically means that when you open the dashboard view, it'll just kind of show up as a tab at the top. And so you can easily kind of click through those at the top of your screen. And the dialog flow is something that you kind of have to set up yourself. So whether you want that to be a pop-up or, maybe a link that you click inside of another dashboard or something like that, you can do that. But that will have to be something that you set up on your own. So the page type is a little bit easier to set up. And you can also see that this icon with the three divided area is the page dashboard type, and then this kind of pop-up window looking thing is the dialog flow, just so you can tell the difference between the two. I'm just gonna click out of here, and yeah, it looks like I have this flow already open. So this is just our sample flow for showing off the task. It looks a little complex, but I assure you it's not. Everything's gonna be okay. We're basically just taking this sales table and creating a temporary table that we pull our reports from to put into the dashboard. Now, another thing to note before I get into the task specifically is in Gaio, in your dashboard flows, it's typically good practice to make the tables that most of your graphics and analytics are being pulled from, those report tasks, you make those tables temporary tables. Now, I'm not going to be showing that off here, but a lot of times dashboards are created with dynamic filters and search functions and things like that. And so if you make the tables that the report tasks are pulling from temporary, it just allows all of your users who are accessing to search different things individually and filter differently to see whatever they want to see, and it doesn't cause any issues, things like that. Now, again, I'm not going to be going over that today, but if you are kind of following along and building a dashboard based on this video, and you get to one of the next videos and we are talking about the filters, it's probably better to just set up your process with temporary tables for now, so you don't have to kind of go back and change anything, even if you aren't using any filters yet. So I have some of my reports already set up, but I'm just going to open a task just to show what it looks like when you first open it and everything. And now, just like the builder, it's pretty easy to access. You can just right click and select report. It's also at this bottom menu here, and it can be found also within the tasks menu if you scroll all the way down, and it's the top icon under delivery. Now let me just open it here. All right, and so on the left here, we're going to have all of the columns from our table. We are also able to create new computed fields just within this report. And this final menu here is just the type of chart or table, any type of graphic that you want to create. And it's cool because based on the one you click on, it'll show you the amount of dimensions and measures you need. And say if you go to the bar chart and you end up doing two fields, it shows you that it'll be a a grouped one, things like that. I'm just gonna go back to the table, and now let's see, just for demonstration, maybe I'll bring in this order date month, and let's see, total price. So now you can see that the table has shown up, and generally speaking, I think by default when you bring in measures, they automatically get aggregated. So if I would have brought in the age or year or anything, quantity, it automatically aggregates it just because it detects that it's a measure. But you can also click here and make it dimension if you don't want it to be aggregated at all. In this case I do, and I like the fact that it's being added up, so that's great. Actually, I think I'm going to, let me change the decimal type real quick. And so this is just the table view, but if I go back into the type menu, I can create bar chart. This is a little much for one of those. Maybe a line chart would be better. And so every report will have these kind of options that you can choose between. General options, these all change. So if I went into the chart, back into the bar chart, see there isn't any general options. So I'm just going to go through the line. Hopefully there's not anything that's missing here, but so I can show the points. I can make it a smooth line if I like curves instead of hard lines. I can add a title, so sales per month, and now I can add that. Nice. I can make the text bigger or smaller, change the position, make it bold. You can do this show table button, which when you click it will just switch to the table view instead of the graph that we've chosen. Or you can do a helper icon. So if you type a message here, when you click on it, the message will show up. So I think this is a cool graph. So cool graph. The label menu. So this is just the legend. Now I only have one, so when I click this label, it's going to just have the number for the points. But if I had multiple measures, or I'm doing a bar chart or a pie chart and there's different colors going on, that label would be just the legend of hey, red is this type of thing, and you understand. I'm gonna disable that. The tooltip is just what happens when you hover over, so you can see that it says sum total price. And when I get into the fields, I can also show you that you can rename this because this name looks a little ugly. But yeah, so if I disable this, now when I hover over, you can't see. And we have these options, just changing the font size, the color, and then hiding 0 or null values. You're also able to edit the X and Y axis, so just the amount of ticks. Maybe this is a little much, I just want it to have 3 ticks or something like that. And you can also enable these options to have sliders. So for the X axis, maybe I want to kind of condense my values to a specific date range, or kind of have it enabled so that when anyone views the dashboard, they can kind of edit it themselves. Let me see. Label the axes. Margins allow you to add margins, but rows displayed allows you to pick the amount of rows that chosen from the table. So if I increase this to 100, I don't think our data changes. But say you had a table that was 10 million rows, or something like that, and it took a long time to load, you could limit that value or something. Maybe you're ordering by, date, and so if you only pull the last, 24 rows, for example, then it only pulls the last 2 years. In this case, if it's, every month. So things like that. But right now we're not going to mess with any of that. The extra, there aren't any extra options for the line graph, I forgot. And then the messages is just, if you hover over this, there will be a message. But generally speaking, a lot of these Settings are pretty straightforward, I would say, but they do change between the different chart types, as I explained. Theming allows you to, change the color. Obviously, we only have one, line here. Maybe if I added, like, let's see, channel. Now you can see that it goes down the list. This graph is, well, this is a little hard to read, but yeah, and we have our legend here now, finally. You can see that as well. I'm gonna get rid of this, but you can see that the palette allows you to choose the colors for as many different categories as you want, and all that stuff, make it look pretty, fit your theme, all that kind of good stuff. And you can also save palettes. So if I like this, I can save the palette. I can delete colors. So if I deleted the top one, then it would turn green. I'm just gonna leave it as it is because I'm not gonna save this one. If I click on any of these columns in the top, it allows me to edit my field options. So I can change the title, so maybe just month. And for the total price, I can call it, revenue. So now it just shows revenue. It looks a lot better than it did before. The aggregate functions that we had before, formatting, that I also showed with the decimal places, just to put it in a kind of the US format, as well as order by functions. And I think that pretty much covers it. When it comes to some things like tables, you can do some kind of dynamic filters. So like, say you have a table of your sales or like your budget, and if something went over budget, maybe it's a negative number and you want your negative numbers to be red and your positive numbers to be blue, you can do stuff like that, but that's just in the table and not in the graph here. So I'm just going to close out of this. I can show you some of the examples here. So we have quantity of customers per channel, quantity of orders per category, and I could go through all of these, but I'm just going to open the dashboard view as well to just show that off. You can see that this dashboard here is in the tab up top, and by default when you go to the preview, this option will be selected. Basically, just what this means is it puts it in edit mode, so you can maybe make your stuff bigger or smaller, or maybe you don't like the placement, you want to move it. You can do all of that stuff. But yeah, I think that mostly covers the report task. If you have any more questions, our documentation will be linked below, and our support team is always willing to answer any of the questions you may have. Thank you so much.